Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk about inner game and how to actually make mindsets and inner game tactics work. This is a popular subject in pickup and in seduction, and it's a popular topic because a lot of guys at the higher levels of seduction, they don't need to think in terms of technicalities too much anymore. I mean, technicalities and the fundamentals and the basics are always going to be useful, and really that's what gets the girl is the expression of yourself. But one way that a lot of higher level guys think is in terms of mindsets, because they've already done the work in order to know how to move themselves in like an attractive way and how to speak clearly and articulately and elegantly. So they have the fundamentals there, so they think in terms of, oh, okay, I just need to remember to be confident. So when they say be confident, they know what that means. They know how that single sentence, that mantra actually plays out in real time. So they can say that to themselves if they're having a bad set where they're talking to a girl and things aren't going well, and they go, oh, just be confident. And they're like, boom. And they totally change their body language and everything just turns out well. The problem with that is when you're teaching that to lower level guys who don't quite have the knowledge to make that mindset work and to make that mindset actually express itself attractively in real time, then you have guys who are being fed these mantras, but because they don't know how to use it, they're just walking around like, okay, be confident, be alpha, girls like me. But it doesn't actually do anything. It sounds good and it's really fun to talk about too. It sells really well. It sells so well because, okay, just remember this mantra and you'll be good with girls. I mean, come on, that's like snake oil. It's like the magic pill. But that's not how it works, and that's what this video is here to explain to you. If you want to increase your confidence with women, your perspective with women, your mental framework with regards to seduction and society and how socializing works and what's attractive and what's not attractive, you have to do two things. First, you need to have the experience in order to build that mindset. So this is how it works. You want to, for instance, okay, I'll give you a personal example. So about I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I was talking to a lover of mine, and she's trained psychiatrist. And so she was working through my issues with women, I guess, because she was very curious about how I viewed women. And she came up with the typical like, oh, you're just looking for sex for validation, and what are you really wanting from women? Why do you love women? Because she knew that I loved women and she was my lover and my friend and we cared about each other, but she wanted to know deep down, because she was curious on a seductive level, like, I'm really curious about this guy Hector, but also she was doing it as a psychiatrist and trying to get me to work through my problems, because she could tell deep down as a trained psychiatrist that maybe there's something deeper to why I'm going after women and why I'm chasing women on such a huge level, why I want to fuck so many women and have so many relationships. And at first it was kind of annoying, because it's like, God damn it, you know, I hear that all the time. Someone's like, oh, you're just looking for validation. I'm like, duh, of course I am. That's an obvious answer. But while she's asking me these questions, we were just texting, and there was this moment where like, I really thought about why I go after so many women. And all of a sudden, I had this almost enlightenment moment with regards to seduction. And I went through my past and I realized that what I was doing was two things. One, I was truly in love with women. So it wasn't just like I was doing this to compensate for past failures. But there was a deeper seated issue of I was rejected by women when I was younger. But then I realized I wasn't. So there was a lot of girls who liked me when I was younger, but I ignored them for the women who rejected me, and I went after those women. So it created this complex of me going after women who rejected me. And that was linked to childhood traumas, you know, not really worth getting into now, but I connected all the dots very clearly, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, when someone says, oh, you do it for validation, that's just a phrase. You have to know what it actually technically ground empirically means. And I was like, oh, I see now exactly what that means when I say I'm doing it for the validation of women. And so all of these experiences in my life, all of my lovers, all my friends, all my rejections, everything, it just like built into this edifice in my mind. And I saw this tower that I guess could represent old mindset of mine, and I just fucking cut it in half, and it just exploded. And what happened was a lot of my traumatic perspectives or negative perspectives, toxic perspectives of myself and women just obliterated. And in that moment, I truly understood what it was to think women like me. But the only way that I was able to have that enlightened moment where now I finally understand women do love me, I'm good with women, I don't need to chase women anymore for bad reasons. Now I'm just going after women because I like to have sex and I like being around them and I want to make them happy. It really was that simple of a realization. And it was probably the most important moment in my 10 years of searching for women. And it was just a magnificent moment of realization and enlightenment and knowledge with regards to seduction and the relationship between me and women and why I want to be with them. And I actually cried. I straight up cried like a baby. And it was a beautiful crying though, because I fell in love with women again. And I realized why I do what I do and why I teach men to do well with women, because I want them to fall in love with women and I want them to see the beauty of women, both the dark side and the light side, right? So it wasn't a naive moment either. So the reason why that moment of realization was able to build itself was because I had had so much experience with women. So if at the start of my journey, I had said, oh, you know what? I'm not gonna search for validation with women. I'm not gonna, push myself. Then I would have never had the realization, because you have to do the work to have the realization. And this is the problem with a lot of inner game advice. Be confident, be alpha. I am the prize. Is they're trying to force a mindset onto you that you're not ready to take. There's a great, if you're aware of who Yuji Krishnamurti is, he's an enlightened guy, but he's like very unconventional with his teachings. You can go look it up. But he actually, when he was younger, he was looking for enlightenment, and he would go to all the gurus in India, because he's Indian, who were reportedly enlightened. And he went to Ramana Maharshi, who's another enlightened guy. And he asked Ramana Maharshi, can you give me enlightenment? Or is this enlightenment thing something you can give me? And Ramana Maharshi said, I can give it to you, but can you take it? And Yuji Krishnamurti said that was one of the moments where he changed, and then it helped his journey to finally get enlightenment. And that was a great example of, obviously, spiritual enlightenment and learning how to, fuck women and seduce women and have relationships. They're kind of different, but all knowledge has the same path. You have to build until you get the realization. Even the Buddha said enlightenment is something you build and then it happens in a moment. And so this moment where I finally was able to not only conceptually and emotionally, but on a cellular level, feel these mindsets. Like, oh, I can live and breathe it. It's not just something that I know and conceptually understand. It's something that I fucking get. In order to get to that moment, I had to be able to take it, like that earlier quote said. The truth is always there. All of the typical things that people say, like, I'm the prize, women like me, all women want to fuck me, be confident, be alpha. Those are correct, but they're philosophically lazy. You're just giving a mantra and hoping that it's going to change your mindset. So the point of this video is to tell you that you're going to have those mindsets as a goal, like I'm going to be a god of seduction, or however good you want to be, right? There's tiers of realizations too. So whatever inner game thing that you want to focus on, like your trauma, you've been rejected, whatever it is, have that as a goal, but you need to go through the step by step. Go and approach this girl and get rejected. Go and approach this girl and rejected. Ask this girl on a date and get rejected. Go on a date with this girl and have sex with her, so then you have a positive experience, and then you compare the negative and the positive experiences very concretely and like specifically. Don't be vague about it. Go very detailed into how these experiences are processing in your mind, and what lessons you're learning, and it's going to be a very complicated and raw, technical, almost like mathematical process, but you need to do that. And then when you actually have that realization, I can't tell you. It's just going to happen, but you need to keep doing the work until you reach that moment. And then once you reach that moment, then you go on and you keep climbing up the mountain and have a new journey. So the way that I want to think about it now, and it's probably the coolest example, is limits in mathematics. This is going to be a bit nerdy, and if you have a mathematics background, you can, of course, Correct me if I make any mistake. So let's say you have a function. So, you know, let's go on an XY axis. You have a function that's 1 over x squared. And so as you plug in numbers, starting from infinity, you're going to have a really low number, right? Because 1 divided by like 100,000 squared is like, beep, right? And so you have the y-axis and x-axis. So as you plug in closer to 0, as positive infinity goes to 0, as you plug in those functions, you're going to come up to the y-axis, right? So 0, 0 is right here on the grid, and you're going to go like this, because now you have really small numbers like 1 over 0.05 squared. It gets bigger because you're dividing by a fraction, right? I know this is super nerdy, but it totally fucking makes sense. It's like the closest thing I can think of to explain this mindset achievement thing that I'm trying to explain to you. So as the numbers get closer, the graph, the points, the output is going to get closer and closer and closer to the y-axis. Now this y-axis is called the vertical asymptote, because it's never actually going to touch, because you can't make it 0, right? You can't do 1 divided by something and you're going to get 0, right? You can put close to 0, but you're never going to get 0, because 1 divided by 0 is yeah, math. So I think it's infinity. So you have closer and closer and closer, and it gets so close. And what they did in mathematics is they're like, okay, we're gonna prove that it basically is, it's close enough to 0 that it's basically practically 0. It's not actually 0, but it's practically 0. And this is a legit proof in mathematics. And so they just kind of say, okay, we're here, we're close to 0. Let's just take a little step and kind of just take that leap. Even though it's not actually 0, it's going to be 0. And what it's such a great example of how this mindset realization works, because you just have to keep doing the work, and you have to keep getting rejected success, crying at night over some girl, getting broken up, getting cheated on, whatever it is that you're trying to like get better with women or understand people better, and you just keep fucking grinding and grinding and grinding, and then pop, it's just gonna like, your mind's gonna go, okay, we have enough evidence and we have enough building blocks to build the pyramid, and we're like, okay, now we're good, we got better with women, I totally have hit this new level in terms of realizations, and now instead of that being an asymptote, you're actually equal with the y-axis, and the limit has been crossed over. Another example of this is Xenophon's paradox of walking. It's kind of like, if you have a distance of this distance, right? You have to, in order to cross to that distance, you have to go half of that distance. But in order to go half that distance, you have to go half that distance. And so it's basically just dealing with limits, but on a philosophical level. And so what the question is, you always have to go halfway to infinity in order to get to point A to point B. But of course, obviously, I can demonstrate empirically that I am going from point A to point B, but logically, there seems to be some sort of gap, but it happens anyways. So how does one have no confidence with women? So you're watching this video and you're not confident with women, and you feel lost, and you feel scared and sad and lonely, whatever it is. How do you go from being that guy, right, this black line, to being this guy? And I know tons of men who are good at picking up with women, but if you meet them, they're not actually like, you see them and you're like, he doesn't seem like he's good with women. And then he goes out and picks up a hot girl. You're like, oh, he's actually good with women. But he doesn't have that, like, je ne sais quoi, that thing, you know, that you can just tell those guys who are like, that guy's good with girls. And girls can always tell too, you know, because they're just like, yep, that guy's good with girls. I can just feel it, that X factor, right? So you can have all that success with women, right? But you're never going to have that feeling of like, yeah, I'm good with girls. So they can actually end up getting hundreds and hundreds of girls, whereas the guy who doesn't have as many girls, but he's actually technically better with women, that's because the guy who is, that's a cool helmet. The guy who is really super confident with women. What happened was he dealt with his trauma and he actually was able to realize he's good with women. Or it's usually guys who had success early on with women. Usually the guys who are really, really confident with women, they had sex with girls when they were 14, 15. And because in their growth as a human being, very early on, they were good with women. So they're just like, yeah, I'm good with women. But guys who start getting good with women when they're like 23, 24, their brain and their mindsets have been so strongly molded already. And then now they try to break it. It's like fucking trying to open a jar that's just so fucking hard. You know, no matter what you do, you take it like this and you're like, I can't quite fucking open it, and it just won't open. Whereas the guy who was, 14 when he got laid, he's like, yep, I'm good with girls. So you need to, I mean, if you're 25 and you're a virgin, or 30 a virgin, 40 virgin, the work is gonna be hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're not gonna be able to watch some video and be like, oh, I'm confident with women all of a sudden. No, because you have so much inertia, you're gonna have to break through, and that bind that you're stuck in, you're gonna have to break it. So you're gonna have to do a lot more work than anyone else. But that's the fucking way it is. Just accept your reality. So you're here right now and you need to jump over here. In order to get over there, you have to do the work, but you also have to do the mental work. But the mental work will not work unless you have actual evidence of women, like hot girls want to fuck me. You can't just think your way to it. You actually have to have experiences where some gorgeous girl is looking up at you with your dick in her mouth, and she's just looking up at you with love and admiration, and you're looking in her beautiful eyes and her perfect bone structure and her deliciously sumptuous lips and her sexy skin, and you're just like, oh my God, this fucking hot girl is sucking my dick. Like, a friend of mine made a joke. He's like, sometimes I'll be fucking a hot girl and I'm like, is this real? You know, like, I know I'm inside of her right now, but is this real? And I had that for a long time. But this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, when I had that realization, all of those hot girls that I'd fucked and had as lovers, like, it finally, oh, they actually like me. And it took a long time for me to fucking get it. So there was evidence, but then I accepted it. So, simple assertion thesis of this video is mindsets and inner game, they're good. They work. Those are really the goals that we're looking for. We're looking for actual like success with women because we want to fuck hot girls and have great relationships and be in love and whatever. But we're also looking for that mindset because the mindset locks in all of the work you've done. It's like you save your game. You're like, do the work, do the work, do the work. But if you don't do the mental work, you don't save your game and you have to go back and do it again. But you're better at the game because you've died so many times. But if you've done the work and you've earned your mindsets, you have to earn your mindsets, save your fucking game. You're good here. And then you go up and you go to higher levels. And that's how you get really, really good with women. And that's how you're able to say, women like me. I'm awesome. I'm the prize. Hot girls want to suck my dick. I'm great. That's me. I'm fucking Poppy. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want from this journey with women and seduction. Okay. That was a lot. I poured my heart out. This is Hector Castillo, Poppy, girlschase.com. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm out of breath. Like my brain was like moving at like 1,000 miles per hour, and I was trying to fit like 10 years of just huge realizations with women into something that could make sense here. But it's my absolute pleasure to teach you guys this. We're here for ourselves, but we're also here for women because this is an amazing journey, an amazing life that we're living, and women make it so much better. So whatever negative mindsets you have, whatever toxic mindsets you have, it's okay. I get it. I've been there. In all actuality, I have to be honest, like until 3 weeks ago, I wasn't really happy where I was with women, right? That's interesting, right? You probably didn't think that seeing my videos. But now I feel like I've finally made it to a point where I'm really happy with how I view women. And to be completely honest, since that 3 weeks, like women have treated me totally different. Like my entire perspective with women has changed and they treat me way differently. And it was after that realization with those girls, I had like, I think 3 dates in a row where I had 3 new girls in a week, which was like a nice role to be on. And I think it was because women could tell that there was a shift in my mindset and that X factor that's within every good great seducer. See, I'm seducing even the dog. He's like, ooh, who's this sexy puppy? Going to say hi, puppy. Yeah, it's just gonna absolutely change. These mindsets are super important. It changes the way women view you. And it's worth it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. Okay, enough rambling. you already know who I am. You know what website I'm at. You know to subscribe. You know to ring the bell. You know to like the video. Also, you might not know, but you should know, follow me on social media, Instagram, keep up with my life. We have a free 7-day mini course that will actually get you to do the basic work, right, of going out to approach girls and picking up girls, and teaches you how to recognize signs of interest, because again, you have to get the empirical evidence to support and build those mental realizations. And this 7-day free mini course that's in the description will help you do that. Okay, I can see you, Bobby, girlschase.com. Bye.